Have you ever drawn a smile that just feels a little bit off or even a little bit creepy? Well, today I'm going to share with you why that happens, and I'm going to show you how to draw a smile that feels natural. Hi, I'm Gena, and welcome to the Art Breakthrough, where I help busy moms improve their drawing skills. Okay, so quickly before we get to the drawing today, I just want to explain a few mistakes that are common that people make. Often when people are asking me how to improve their drawing, I will tell them to darken the shadows and bump up the contrast. However, when it comes to smiles, for whatever reason, people tend to over darken the lines, which can really make it look unnatural and just not give it, it's not the look that we're going for in our portraits. And I'll give you an example of that in a second. Another way that people overdo it in their drawings is making the laugh lines too wide or the smile too big. So usually we want to keep the measurements with the pupils going down just like so. If it goes past that, then it may also not look natural. Another common mistake is to not animate the eyes at all. Let's say you're using two different reference pictures for your portrait, and one they are not smiling, so their eyes are going to be normal. But you'll notice when people smile, it lifts up the cheeks. The eyes are a different shape than what they otherwise would be if they were not smiling. So be careful and watch out for that. That's one more thing to keep in mind as you are going to draw your portraits so that they can look more natural. So today we are going to be drawing the smile from this picture right here, and as you can see, I have given an example of what can happen when you have the lines too dark. Yeah, it's not exactly what we're going for, right? And here's an example with just the lines of the smile. And you can see it is overly dark and how much it dramatically changes the picture. The good news is a lot of people make this mistake. You are not alone in this. And I'm going to show you how to fix it. So grab your pencil and paper and eraser and let's head over to the drawing table. Let's just start sketching lightly here. We're going to start with the top lip and just kind of, we're not going exact right now, just get an idea of where things are going to be. Sketching in that lightly. You always want to start out nice and light to begin with. That way, in case you need to make any changes, it's easy to erase and shift things around. These are the teeth marks right there. I'm starting to darken these lines a little bit because I'm liking where everything is lining up. Here's the edge, some of the laugh lines coming in. Feel free to pause the video anytime if you need to, if you feel like you need to catch up with anything. And notice I'm moving my arm all the way up to the other side because it's easier to reach that angle now. I'm going to widen this lip. I feel like it's a little too thin. So I'm going to make that a bit thicker as I put that in. A lot of how I draw is just going back and refining things a little bit more and a little bit more until I got what I'm looking for. Don't feel like you need to hold your pencil the way I do. I hold it in an unusual way in 2 counts because one, I hold it a little bit farther back. Well, a lot farther back than most people. And then I also am holding it, you'll notice, behind my pointer finger rather than resting it on the top of my pointer finger, which is a little bit different. But hold your pencil however it's comfortable for you. There's not necessarily a right or wrong way with that, so just do what's comfortable. I've got my kneaded eraser, just lightening that up a little bit on the top, changing the shape. Go ahead and put in these teeth. I'm starting from the center. As you can see, I went down from the top lip with an imaginary line. Now I'm just kind of gauging how wide I want these to be, basing off that center line. And I'm drawing very, very lightly so that I can change it if I want to. Darken that line a little bit. And as I go, I'm just noticing how close is the gum line to the top lip and how far down does that next tooth start according to where the next tooth in the gum line is, if that makes sense. Or how far does that arch come down from the gums down each tooth. So you're just kind of measuring things based on what's around, so you can get that correct proportions. This tooth is a little bit more pointy than the others, so I'm taking that into account. Now, somehow I did this extra line there and got myself an extra tooth. So we'll come back in and fix that later. You can see I'm making the front teeth just a little bit slightly longer than my original line that I made, and curving those edges a little bit more as well. Let me know if you guys like, if you like the real-time videos, or if you'd like to have a couple of videos sped up a little bit, where I can still talk and give direction, but they can be a bit faster. I'm not sure which you prefer, so please let me know in the comments because I want to be the most helpful for you guys. This tooth is a little bit pointier. The gum kind of starts a little bit farther down on this one as well. So I'm just bringing that up and around, noticing how close it gets to the top lip. Notice the teeth get a lot narrower as it gets towards the back of the mouth, of course, because it's curving around and they start to disappear in there. Thank you for drawing with me today. I'm glad you were taking this time to improve your skill and to just relax and have a good time. So I'm starting the bottom teeth over here. It's just a good point of reference because I noticed there's kind of this darker spot right between those teeth, but I'm going to move to the center now. Just starting out light to begin with again as I sketch these in. And notice as they start coming out towards these outer edge teeth, they have quite a bit more curve to them. It's not a straight line. And there's a little bit of a gum line at the bottom, just very, very subtle. If it's easier for you to follow along with the reference picture as well, I will have that in the comments so that you can download it as well. It is free to download, so it's royalty free as well, so I will leave that for you in case you would like it. Just slight little gum line on the bottom there. I'm just barely starting to indicate. We'll put that in a little bit darker later as well. Just take time to notice where things line up as you look at little tiny nuances with different teeth, like the ones that are a little bit more pointy. You can use that as a measurement to base your shadows on and differentiate one point to another. That will help you along. Now we're just going to begin to put in some of the shading over here at the side of the mouth. Alright, so we're beginning to shade this side of the mouth, and what I'm going to do is just start shading these bottom teeth as well. We don't want these to be totally white.
I'm counting the teeth because I realized I ended up with this extra tooth over here somehow. So I'm comparing it to the reference photo, and I'm just going to get rid of that tooth right there because somehow I had that extra line. So I had mentioned that earlier, and now we are just getting rid of that. So shading that area leading up to the edge of the lips, corner of the mouth. Darken this line as well. I'm holding my pencil very, very lightly right now. Holding my pencil very lightly as I go over these teeth and gum area. You can always make it darker. I just like to start with kind of a medium light shade and then go darker as I go. Kind of holding the pencil to the side, it makes it easier to shade larger areas as well. Shading that bottom lip. I'm going to thicken up this bottom lip right here. I think it needs to be just a little bit lighter, or a slightly bit thicker. Once again, I'm putting my hand up where it's easier to get to that area of the drawing. You can also turn your paper accordingly if you'd rather do that. And subtly making that thicker again, bringing it out as I shade it. I notice there's kind of a somewhat of a stark line on that right side of the lip. I'm going to start subtly bringing in these lines. You have to be really careful with the visible lines on the mouth because it's easy to overdo the lines on the mouth. So you just want to be careful of that and not make them too dark. They need to be soft lines and blend in, or it will end up looking strange and you'll end up with something that you are not going to be happy with. So make sure you're doing subtle, soft lines. And if you get it to, so that's why, again, I like to start on the lighter side and then just kind of gradually build it up. If you get it too dark, you can go back in with your kneaded eraser and lighten it up and just try again in that area. So as I shade, I'm kind of following the curvature of the lip, depending on what side of the lip I'm on also. There's a highlighted area right there. And I'm just going to shade around that highlight. I hope you're enjoying this practice today. You're doing a really good job. Remember, it does not have to look exactly like mine in order for you to have a good practice. Yours might look totally different. It's still practice, and that is okay. God doesn't even expect everything to be perfect. He just wants us to try, right? So don't expect too much of yourself. I'm lightening that up. I'm just dabbing that on to lighten it just a little bit. As soon as we start to get a little bit more shading on the gums and the teeth, you'll really start to see this starting to take shape and have that 3D effect. Start nice and light. I'm building up that area just a little bit darker in those corner areas. Every area has the light and shadows come into play. Every little piece. You have to look and see, does this tooth have shadow on this side and light on the other? What about this tooth? What about the next tooth? And just look at your reference picture over and over and over so you can find those little details that make a difference and bring it to life for you. Using the side of my pencil, light. The right side of the teeth over on this side are a little bit more shaded. That's where our light is coming from the left. Just hold that pencil as light as a feather. All of these teeth underneath are in shadow. There's a little bit of an overbite, so it's casting a shadow on the teeth underneath. So go ahead and put an overall shade right over the top of those. If you see me drawing on a line that's already there, that means that I'm just darkening it up a bit. But subtly, you'll notice. Let's shade a little bit more around these laugh lines. That'll make a difference as well, for sure. But keep it nice and light so that it goes on smooth and we don't have super hard lines. That's what we're trying to avoid, is harsh, dark lines. See how that's nice and soft? Very, very light. There's a little bit of shadow over on this side as well. You can see how it just kind of fades into nothing. It's very soft. Doing light shading on this side. Like I said, our light source is coming from the left, so it's going to be darker on the right side. Now she's got this kind of line, the very distinct line underneath her nose. So this is not her nose, it's the line that you see between her lips and her nose. And this is something that could be easily overdone, but it's obviously kind of a signature look for her, so we definitely want to include it, but just keep it nice and subtle and soft. It can still be there, but doesn't have to be over pronounced and overtake everything. This is really starting to come together now with this shading we've got going on. Okay, I'm going to come in and darken some of these shadows that are our darkest darks. And you'll see that can really make a big difference. So I'm actually using the same pencil for this time. I'm just simply pressing harder on it for those really dark spots. Over here I'm still going light. Showing those, bringing those gums up a little bit higher. and darkening in between the teeth. Those darkest darks really bring it to life, don't they? But it's also all the subtleties that make it all come together. It makes a big difference to have all of the light shadows that we put in as well. Just kind of playing with it, seeing, making it a little bit darker and seeing if I'm pleased with how dark it is or if I need to go slightly darker than that. Just layer after layer. Kind of focusing on the right side of these teeth, making little shadows so that it can look like it's wrapping around. Darkening a little bit of the tops of the gums in between the teeth. You'll notice sometimes the gum line has sort of not a solid line that goes up towards underneath the top lip, but you can kind of see somewhat of a line that goes up. Just some darker shading. Just going back and seeing where it needs a little bit more shading, where it needs to darken up. I'm going to go ahead and put a shadow underneath the top teeth to further indicate that overbite. And then I'll just slightly soften so there's not a solid line there. If you want something this detailed, you simply need to take the time for it. These things take time. Once in a while, you gotta just step back and look at the drawing as a whole and see if there's anything you need to adjust. Now, this is my eraser. It's my little 0. It's very small and thin. Unfortunately, these highlights aren't showing up very much on the video, but I'm just putting in the little highlights that I see, the little shines on the reference picture. And I'm being very, very careful when I swipe the little eraser marks away because I don't want to smear the drawing. The oils on our hand can smear the drawing, so be super careful, cautious when you do that. You don't want to mess up all your hard work. Sometimes you can really subtly just put a little bit of shadow right next to a highlight if you're being, I'm talking crazy subtle with that because you don't want to have hard lines. A lot of times I'll also just try to blow on the picture with my mouth before I use my hand to see if it will just blow off, in order to try to not smear the drawing as well. If you don't have a mono zero eraser, you can try doing that with a different eraser if you feel like it's gonna be a small enough area, or you can just use your kneaded eraser. We are almost there. This is looking good. Okay. Beautiful. Great job today, you guys. Thank you so much. Now you can give yourself a big smile. Continue practicing to smile, both with the drawings you've created and in life in general. Helps if we smile.
Thank you so much for joining me in this drawing tutorial today. Hopefully these tips were very helpful to you and you were able to just take some time to relax and draw for a little bit. Every little bit of practice helps you to improve. So thank you so much for showing up. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more drawing tips. And comment below what was most helpful for you today, and let me know if you have any suggestions for upcoming videos you'd like me to cover. If you like this video, I know you're going to like the tutorial about drawing specifically just lips. So you can go ahead and watch that one here next. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.